I decided to make this video in response to two viewers who had asked questions. So firstly, I'd like to thank Matt for this question. He's a XC90 Recharge driver who asked how he can optimize the use of his battery and maximize range while he's waiting for a level 2 charger to be installed. So I will cover preconditioning as well as how to use brake energy regeneration in a plug-in hybrid, along with smart energy distribution, use of your navigation system, and also the auto hold and charge button. I'd like to thank Rick, a C40 driver, who asked a question about preconditioning. I thought it was such a great question that I wanted to incorporate it into a video. Over here is a graph that you will find on Volvo's support site that shows what happens to an XC40's range as the speed increases over here and as temperature decreases, starting off at 20 degrees Celsius over here, going all the way to minus 10 degrees Celsius, way below freezing. So as you can see, there is a huge difference in range as temperature goes down. And the one that I wanted to highlight the most to you is the difference between number 2 and number 3. This is a difference between 20 degrees Celsius and 35 degrees Celsius. That is not a whole big gap. And if you think that preconditioning in summer is not important too, this will show you that it does actually affect range. So when you activate preconditioning on your app, it usually stays on for about 30 minutes and it's trying to get the car to about 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And what I typically do is on a really, really cold or extremely hot day, I will leave it on for the full 30 minutes. But otherwise, I make a judgment call in maybe, let's say, 10 minutes if it's closer to 72 degrees. So what I would recommend you to do is make it a habit to precondition.
This car has brake energy regeneration. So ordinarily, if you press the brakes, it is using the motors to charge the battery. And so when you're in the drive mode, so if you pull this back into drive and you are in drive over there, then it only works when you are actually pressing the brakes. However, if you switch one more down into B drive, then the car is now operating like an electric car. Every time you take your foot off the accelerator, it will start slowing down and it's going to charge the battery. That is another way in which you can optimize your usage of the battery by changing wasted braking energy into a charge on your battery. When you have the hold button engaged in this car, like I'm going to do that right now, it prevents the electric motors from coming on. Your car is just operating as a gas-powered car, and you are conserving your battery power for when you will need it more. The charge button in your car will force the electric motor to charge the battery. It is an incredibly inefficient way to drive your car because not only is your car being driven by this gas-powered engine, but the gas-powered engine is in addition to that charging the battery. So you want to avoid using this, and the best place to use it is, let's say you are on a highway, you are maintaining a constant speed, then you wouldn't be robbing as much power from your gas-powered engine.
I wanted to give you a real world example of how I would use all of these different features in a plug-in hybrid. I'm starting off here in Annapolis in a beautiful XC90 Recharge, and I have about 40% battery power, and it's 38 degrees outside. First thing I do is I precondition the car and I get it to a cooler temperature. And then when I get onto US 50 here, it's a nice long highway, no traffic at all. I hit the pilot assist button and I'm maintaining a nice constant speed of about 55 miles an hour. And what I do is I hit the charge button and I start charging up my battery. When I get to this point, just as we're entering the DC Metro, the Washington DC Metro area, I've charged up enough and I hit the hold button because now I want to conserve my battery for when I really hit traffic. As I get into the traffic area here, this is now Washington, D.C. You rarely get past the speed of 40 miles an hour, constant stop-start, lights everywhere. And what I do is I activate Pure. And when I'm in Pure mode, I am just using the battery only this entire time. I run this route here, and at some point when the traffic starts going down, I can switch over, and from Pure mode, I can go into Auto. And once I'm in the auto mode, Then at that point, the smart energy distribution takes over and it uses all the different factors like topography and traffic and speed cameras, and it works out when is the best time to switch on the battery and the electric motors. Finally, I get back onto 50 here. If I'm really low on battery and I don't have somewhere to charge, I can decide to do a charge when I'm at a constant speed. Or if I have a charger in Annapolis that I'm going to, I can say, hey, I'm not going to use up any fuel and I'll charge when I get home. I hope this all makes sense. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, and share button, and keep driving that Volvo.